This episode of the Wild Card Podcast is brought to you by the Rainy Day Contraceptive Sponge.
Guys, this is it!
Rainy Day Contraceptive Sponge. What? We understand you have urges.
Oh.
Strong human urges.
Jeff.
And your fallopian tubes need a guardian.
I don't have a fallopian
Like
tube.
the majestic moose of the Great White North, our contraceptive sponge will stop the march of your lover's snowy jism dead in its tracks.
Threw up my mouth a little bit.
And for those happy accidents...
Did you just make a Bob Ross reference?
Yes! The Rainy Day Contraceptive Sponge can be inserted within 48 hours after proliferation, and we guarantee it will completely soak up and dry out everything between your labia and uterus.
All the real estate.
The Rainy Day Contraceptive Sponge. Does the world really need any more humans?
Actually, that's a good question. Rainy Day Contraceptive Sponge.
Told you it was the best commercial ever!
Welcome to the Wild Card Podcast. I'm your host, Jared Eaton, and my co-pilots on this journey to wherever are my good friends Jeff Curtis.
Hello.
And friend to dope fiends, bootleggers, and jackrollers everywhere, Ron Blair.
I'm Kelsey.
Your buddies with Kelsey.
My buddy's with Kelsey.
You weren't Kelsey.
I wasn't
you were
Kelsey.
the cop, remember?
Yeah, that's true.
The sheriff who didn't
Sheriff
last
Reed.
Who didn't last very long.
The 300-pound sheriff who
yeah.
didn't really... Who got fired for not dealing with the criminal.
But at least you weren't Jeff. I mean, Jeff was the mastermind of all this stuff.
Was he Hale?
He was Hale.
Hale.
I never agreed that I was
You
Hale.
never got...
You guys...
Exactly. You didn't have to agree.
He was a villain.
Well, all these are references to last week's glorious episode.
Yeah.
The Wild Cards
Epic.
Killed the Flower Moon.
Epic.
Which almost killed my computer.
A glorious genocide.
Yeah.
You need to check that out.
It was
Listen to that
something.
podcast.
It was
But for those of
something
you who
else.
are just checking this episode out and never really spent much time with the Wild Cards before, good news. You've got Ron Blair here
Damn
to tell
right.
you what this podcast is all about.
Ask me again what today's podcast is all about.
Ron Blair, what is this podcast
Timing.
all about? Great. So, this podcast is here to present your ears some glorious good news. The good news about whatever
your ears.
the three of us
cookies.
decide to talk about.
Yeah.
And also, just us in general.
Yeah.
And I was recently re-listening to The Wild Cards Eat Your Fingers Off.
Bless
the
your
first
heart.
episode we ever did.
Yep.
And it's got some good stuff in
It's a
there.
Number
great
one.
episode.
And it was,
Number
it
one.
kind of, even though we didn't have a favorite section before the topic, we kind of
Right.
just went right into the topic. Within the topic, we had the question of, rank your favorite fast
Right.
food fried chicken.
Yep.
And Jeff had nothing to say because he hadn't eaten fried chicken for...
It was
I was a vegetarian for 20
a vast
years.
majority of his
It
life,
was
right.
really an episode of Favorite.
It was. And it kind of got into... So,
Yeah.
but one thing, as we were discussing our favorite fast food fried chicken, Ron brought up, is that he is a connoisseur of French fries.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I thought our favorite question today would be favorite French fries.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh.
And
All right.
Not necessarily. I mean, you can do a ranking if you want to, or we can just have some brief and maybe not so brief discussion of some glorious French fries.
Yeah, see, this is not a topic that... It's like asking me to rank my favorite 5 horror movies or whatever.
Yeah, we did that.
It's I know. And it's much like that. I can't choose one.
Why not?
Even in the... Because...
I'm asking you to.
They're all different.
Ron, do the thing.
There's so many different...
Okay, you list 5.
List 5.
I'm only going to list 1, but you can list 5.
Okay,
Well, go ahead
well,
and list one. Give Ron some time to come up with his 5. Because I mean, you asked us favorite James Bond theme songs, in your top 5 episodes.
oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh gosh,
And
James
that's
Bond.
exactly
oh.
the thing. That's how I feel right now about French fries.
So Jeff, what are your favorite French fries?
Bluegrass burgers, French
Oh,
fries
really?
in Louisville.
Wow.
They are amazing.
You guys have talked about
I
this
lived
place
there. I
before.
lived near there. Yeah, I lived near there. It was walking distance, and we'd get buffalo burgers and fries there all the
Yeah.
time.
Oh, I'm gonna like bison or
I would get bison.
They have both.
They offer
They-
beef
they-
bison.
well,
They offer
Oh,
bison
that's a
burgers. They
good
also
meat.
offer Angus burgers.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the
Oh,
thing.
man.
When we say the word buffalo,
Yeah.
we mean bison. Bison technically aren't buffalo,
Right.
But we always call it like buffalo burger because it's just
Well, that's the only way I can separate it between that and a really hot burger.
yeah,
Like
buffalo sauce.
You're right,
No,
exactly.
No, it's a bison burger technically.
Okay, I've had one of those in my life,
I
and
love
the
them.
meat
I love it. It's glorious.
is amazing.
It's healthy. It's
so
healthier,
good.
too.
I've heard that it's a
But it still
lower
has
fat
better flavor?
content. Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
So some of my favorite fries are from like when I was younger.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of my favorites, and I don't know if they're as good as they used to be. Honestly, I don't think they are because I don't go there anymore. But was Applebee's. Because Applebee's
they're
fries
not anymore. They're bad.
Applebee's fries were thicker a little bit,
Yeah.
but they were covered in pepper, and it was they weren't like I don't mean like steak fry thickness. I'm
Right,
thinking
right.
like a little thicker than like a McDonald's fry, like a more substantial than that.
Yeah.
But they were so peppery. Like I would go there, and one of my favorite meals in my entire life was Applebee's chicken parmesan.
Yeah.
Because it was substantial. It wasn't like you go to like a nice restaurant, you're getting chicken parm. It's like the smallest little cutlet of chicken
It's a
covered
tender.
in pasta.
Right.
And there it was like fried chicken level size of chicken tenderloin.
Oh, yeah.
With, chicken parm sauce and cheese on it. But instead of getting pasta, I would get their French fries.
And it would
And
be
I would
like
soak
the
that up in
substitute.
the
God.
and that would take on
yes.
the tomato sauce, and
Oh.
it was glorious. It was like no meal has ever made me happier but it doesn't exist anymore. They got rid of chicken parm because I was the only one who ate it.
No, because Applebee's sucks anymore. They're
Right.
horrible.
Well, I mean, they got rid of it. We're talking over a decade ago, probably.
Yeah,
When they
well,
stopped
that's the
having it.
last time Applebee's was good.
So that was like
How do you survive
long term.
Applebee's? How
That
do you
was
sleep?
in the top of mine. Another
Yeah.
one that doesn't exist anymore that probably would have been in my top 5 was, you think Arby's, what fries come to mind?
Curly
fries, which are good. They are good fries.
I think they're
but
okay.
they used to have home style fries.
Oh, those were so
which
far
was,
superior.
I think the
far
better
superior to
French
curly
fry. But
fries.
again, everyone wanted the curly fry.
Yeah.
But their home style fries were
Fuckers.
great. Another one that hasn't existed for over 10 years, I would say.
Yeah. It's
But
been a
I
long
would say
time.
probably right now, number 1 for me would have to be Rallies.
Yeah, Rallies would make my list for sure.
Popeyes wouldn't be far behind, but they have a scale
Yeah,
of
they
how
were
good
good.
they are.
Yeah.
They got a good flavor. They're not as like salty as the Rallies fry.
And I think that's what's missing.
Yeah.
They're Cajun-y, which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fine flavor. Jeff, you go ahead, because I'm
He's
really...
already- he's
I
already
gave
said
mine.
Go
he
ahead.
gave his one.
I
his
gave my one.
answer.
Damn,
I don't-
one... How can you guys just have
Now,
one...
I-
the bluegrass
mostly-
burgers? That sounds so good.
Well, they're great fries and great burgers. Mostly fries to me are a vehicle to put ketchup in my mouth.
Now, are you
Beyond that?
are you a fan of sweet potato fries? Because I'm not.
Not
but-
really.
okay,
Nah,
I had a
I'm
lot
not
of
a
friends back
fan of
home. They would
either.
actually just order the sweet potato fries. Than the
Yeah.
fries. There was a tavern back in New Albany. There's a couple of them now, although one of them burned down multiple times.
Yeah.
Called Sam's. It was a pub tavern, and they had a waffle fry. That was really, really good.
Yeah, I'm okay with waffle fries.
It depends, because we've talked before about crinkle cut, and the very
Right.
first time we talked about my lack of preference for crinkle cut fries because they're so often soggy. And I think waffle fry can get there if it's not fresh, but man, when they were fresh,
Yeah, they're not bad.
they held salt and pepper really
I
nicely.
do like Wendy's Baconator fries. I
Oh,
like those.
man, those
and
are
I,
good.
And I like some good chili or
Chili cheese fries.
chili cheese
cheese
fries.
fries. Well,
and stuff.
here's my problem with picking down what's my favorite fry is that
You're a coward.
I'm totally afraid of this conversation.
Alienating French fries that will
Really,
not
I
be
don't
French any
want
longer.
to have an inner struggle right now because I'll win.
But I'm asking you to do
But
this.
you'll win your
I'll win my inner struggle, right?
That's good.
Because you have to classify them as
know.
what do you buy
I
at the
said
grocery
favorite
store
French
and
fries.
take home.
Oh, I never buy
Let me
it.
break this down. They're cheap and delicious. I dig the crinkle cut. Those are my favorite if I'm buying from a store. Although the inner struggle continues between that and steak fries. Steak fries, when paired with other dishes, certain dishes, have those certain purposes. Just like cutting your own potatoes at home and frying them up has a different purpose with different condiments. So you take the Rally's fries, which are awesome.
Well, let
on
me
their
ask
own.
you this about the
Yeah.
take home fries.
Yeah.
Do you bake them or do you fry them?
No, I fry them.
Okay. Because when we get them, we bake them.
Well, there's your problem with fries. You haven't. That's like a virgin going, I don't like sex. I've had it a little bit, but I don't like it. No, you have to fry them. That's the way God.
You have
when
to
God
deep fry
gave
to
the
have sex,
potato
what
to
you're
the
saying.
earth, right? Exactly. When God gave the potato to the Irish people, He
Wait a
said,
second.
"Take these
The
and
potatoes
fry them."
are from North America.
Well, the Irish had them at one
They
point.
did.
and
They were
taken
imported
away.
back.
And then they were taken away. So
Okay.
when God gave
So we come to your
potatoes to
history
the
now,
Irish
people.
people, that's right. He said, "Fry these in oil. Fry these in duck fat. Fry them in vegetable
And the
oil.
Lord
what
said,
have you
fry
there
your
be deep
potatoes
fried
in duck
potato.
fat."
in duck fat at the really special
So have you
places."
had
Which
poutine?
that
Have
was
you had
like
poutine
his
before?
15th
Oh, I've had
commitment.
poutine. Holy God Almighty. Gravy and curds and fries. Are you shitting me? Those are the three things that need to go
3
together
points
in
of your
life.
triangle.
Yeah, exactly. That's my Triforce. I will battle Gannon
All day long.
for those
poutine.
for some poutine. I'm not even kidding, man. Yeah, and then you go, am I going to... What fries are the best if you melt Velveeta over them at home?
None.
If you're going out, what fries... From where do you put vinegar and salt on your fries?
Wow.
None of those.
And maybe mix some ketchup and mayonnaise together.
Fancy sauce.
I'm telling you.
So when I mentioned the
there's
home style
many
fries from
varieties.
Arby's,
Yeah.
I would argue those still exist in a different iteration at Hardee's. Hardee's fries
they
are
are very
very
much like
comparable
that.
to the
They're very
old
much
home
like
style
that.
fries.
Now there was a point when you didn't like the fries from
Steak and Shake.
no,
That's what.
Yeah, those aren't my
Mark's
favorite.
I like
Feed
those.
Store.
There was
Because you wouldn't go eat there because you
Right,
hated their
right.
fries, so you went to
Love 'em.
Zaxby's instead.
I found their potato salad
Downgrade.
though, and their potato salad is on point.
The thing
It's
about Mark's
fantastic.
Feed Store fries is that the fries are fine, but on the table they give you seasoned salt,
Yeah.
which I just want to swallow whole. Like not
Right,
even like
right.
dump it out. I just want to eat the entire container of seasoned salt.
Well, that's like when you go to Shoney's. There's
No one goes to
seasoned
Shoney's.
salts. I know.
No one goes
but
to Shoney's. When you go to Shoney's,
it was more of an amorphous answer for
Someone
those.
goes to Shoney's.
It's for the tourists who might be listening to
Okay.
us as they pass through town.
you wake up and you're at Shoney's.
No tourists listening to
Right.
us.
You never know who's going to pick up the channel or whatnot.
In the future, when this is in a time capsule,
Right, exactly.
people have returned to Shoney's
And people are flying over Shoney's.
after
before
leaving
they-
Ponderosa.
Right.
Sizzler.
Oh,
They had a quick stop at
Man,
Sizzler.
those places need to be
We
open.
haven't eaten at Shoney's since Madeline accidentally ate frog's legs there once.
No kidding.
She thought they were chicken legs until she started eating them.
No,
and then
that's an honest mistake.
She found out they were frog legs, and she was so horrified that we can't even mention Shoney's without her
Screaming and
Yeah.
terror and gnashing of teeth.
That reminds me of a bit I came up with lately. If Kermit had fallen to Doc Hopper
Oh, okay.
and lost his
In the Muppet
legs,
movie. In the Muppet movie.
this is the letter he would write. Dear Fozzie, please wheel me into the ocean. That would be his last words. Tell Piggy I never loved her.
She's
That
probably the
would
one
be
eating
it.
them.
She's most likely sitting there. I can't do a Miss Piggy.
It's probably
so,
a good call for everyone if
yeah.
we don't do that.
We still haven't got your favorite
He's
fries.
too scared. He's still trying to stall.
I can't.
This is quite the stalling routine.
See, I actually do like Steak and Shake fries because they also hold pepper really well.
Oh, they do.
Which is,
hold-
again,
they
I
hold
love pepper,
seasonings
yeah.
pretty well.
Even though they're small.
In general.
And you can get a handful of them.
I can't answer.
My
I
goodness,
can't
Ron.
answer.
You
Is
can
that
give
an
us your
option?
top five.
You said you were a
Okay.
connoisseur.
You said you could give us five.
I am.
Episode 1. No, apparently not. You got nothing to say
I am.
about
I
it.
You
said
don't-
everything
You said
about all
one
the
thing.
fries.
You said if I'm taking them home, I kind of like crinkle cut. You didn't say brand. You said sometimes.
That's where
steak-
you stopped
sometimes
listening. I
steak
went
fries
on
are
about
good.
Captain D's fries.
You
You
did
put
not say
vinegar and
that.
salt on those.
You did
At
not say
Penn
Captain D's.
Station,
You
put
never said
vinegar and
Captain
salt
D's.
on
Penn
those.
Station.
Well, I'm mentioning them now. I mentioned
are
the vinegar
mentioning
and
them
salt
now.
fries.
Okay, so you don't have to pick your top one. Just pick your top
My
five.
top five. I'm going to put Captain D's and Penn Station as both on the list. I
Similar
love
fr-
vinegar
similar
and
fries.
vinegar and salt. I love those on my fries. I'm actually going to put McDonald's on the list. It's a comfort to me.
And the
I
funny thing
enjoy
about
them.
McDonald's is, when at least the one in Meade County, I haven't actually gone to one down here
Yeah,
because there's other choices. But when the one in Meade County, they were consistent.
yeah.
Every time you went, the fries were really good and salty, which is what I'm looking for.
That's exactly what I need. You know what? Scratch that. I can come up with a number one.
Okay.
I don't get them often, but Red Robin steak fries.
They are good.
I dip those in A1, and
I love
that's-
fries and barbecue sauce.
That's so good. I'm not a huge barbecue fan.
I am a huge
fan. I
barbecue
like
fan.
the tartness of A1. It really
There's
gets you
a
in the
sauce
jaws.
that
You know?
Chili's has, a honey chipotle sauce.
Yeah.
And I wish it was bottled because it is almost the perfect balance of sweet and spicy.
I love that.
A lot of them tend to
God, I
go one
love
way or
that.
the other, but that
Right.
one's got an excellent you get the honey very cleanly.
Yeah.
But it gets the sweat on the brow.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put Zaxby's on my list too.
Okay.
I love Zaxby's fries.
They also
put
have
the little
seasoned salt in
paprika
there.
or
They have
whatever,
seasoned salt
seasoned
on
salt.
theirs,
Yeah, I dig that. And then with the Zaxby sauce, holy shit, that stuff. It's ridiculous.
Okay. Where does Lee's Chicken? Do they have fries?
They don't have fries. They have wedges.
They have wedges.
Well,
Where
and
do,
that- and
where
that
do their
leads into-
wedges fall on your
That
list?
leads
You
into
know,
my
I-
second question, which is favorite potato preparations in general.
Oh, I thought I already covered that. Did I? Didn't
Nope,
I?
we just said French fries.
didn't- okay.
All we've talked about. Because I like a good I think KFC probably has my favorite potato wedges because they're crisper.
Those are
in
those
some
are
places
good wedges.
you would go.
I haven't had Lee's wedges since I was maybe 8 or 9, but
'Cause
I
Ron doesn't go
remember
there,
liking
except
them.
for
Yeah,
us,
I'm
on
not
accident,
going
on
to
accident.
that fucking place.
Damn it.
I think otherwise, if I've had Lee's, the one or two other times I've had Lee's,
usually
it's
mashed
been
potatoes there.
mashed potatoes and gravy, which are very peppery, and,
And there's
I like that.
their,
Okay.
their last couple times I've gone, their mashed potatoes have been a little thinner than I care for.
Oh, that's disappointing. I like a
a
thicker
little
mashed
more
potato.
substance to it.
Yeah.
But I'm a big mashed potato fan, except for when people get fancy with mashed potatoes. I'm a plain guy. I just want some good mashed potatoes. I don't want you to put chives in there. I don't want gravy or cheese. I just want
You just want
mashed
simple
potatoes.
mashed
I
potato.
do, with
Man,
a lot
I
of
love
pepper on it.
gravy.
A lot of pepper on it.
Gravy and pierogies. since you won't let me say pierogies.
I won't let you say that.
But they're pierogies.
They're not, though.
Potatoes wrapped in, like pasta,
Yeah.
really.
It's like a dumpling.
It is. It's exactly a dumpling. You put a little cheese with it, a little bacon with it, smashed
Do you
potatoes.
use sour cream?
You wrap it. Oh, yes. That's
Sour
what I
cream
dip
dip?
it in. That's what I finish it with. I'll boil them and
Because
then fry
I'm
them
a big
in butter.
baked potato fan as well. Like cheddars,
Oh, man. What do you put on your baked potato?
salt and pepper.
And that's it.
That's it, man.
No sour cream,
Nope.
no cheese, no bacon, no
I
chives.
like twice baked potatoes.
I like those, but I never get them.
I
Where
saw
do I find
upstairs
them?
you
Where
had
can we
some-
find them?
You make them.
At
You
Jeff's
make them.
house.
You
You
make
find
them.
them at Jeff's house.
Do you put salt on the outside of the potato?
I don't know. I've
nice.
never made.
I love that. Olive
Yeah.
oil will
I like
really
mashed potatoes,
stick.
but unlike Jared, I like things on my potatoes because
Well,
I don't.
you're a normal human
I don't
being.
particularly like. But I find potatoes without butter or salt or something else, even fries. I find them to be bland and boring.
Oh, yeah,
and
they're
not-
horrible.
Bland and boring, my favorite flavors.
So I like mashed potatoes, but I gotta have some butter in my mashed
That's
potatoes or sour cream and
Butter
some
I'm
salt.
okay with. Like, if I'm having a big potato and there's butter on it, that's great. Sometimes I'll scoop some of it off, though, because it gets a little much.
Yeah, I love twice baked potatoes because they're mashed and they got butter in them, they got bacon in them, they got
Yes.
chives on them, they've got sour cream on top, and it's like yes.
Potatoes are such a perfect vehicle for
Almost anything.
These things, yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah.
talked about baked potato, what it can hold,
Right.
French fries, and the fancy sauce you use sometimes with just ketchup and not mustard, ketchup and
Ketchup
mayonnaise.
and
put together.
mayonnaise, yeah.
And then we talk about like poutine and like how different those are as toppings, but potato can hold all of them.
Absolutely.
That's because the potato is bland enough where you can put anything on it, and
That's
and,
it.
and it's and it works.
And I will
Its
regulate-
flavor isn't fighting against
a
anything.
pleasant-
I will
Texture
regularly
is what
get
it is.
if I have a good French fry, I'll regularly ask for barbecue sauce from my fast food place and dip in
Yeah.
barbecue sauce. I love, and I don't go. I've honestly been to Chick-fil-A in a year or so. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I've even got some gift cards that are just sitting at home that I don't use. But their fries are solid, and they really
Yeah.
go well into barbecue sauce.
Yeah,
Make
I
them
like
barbecue
those
sauce.
waffle fries, but they don't make the even really honorable mention.
Yeah.
For me, they're fine, but
I
I'd
think they're
rank
better
them
than
there with
fine.
like Wendy's
But
fries.
there are other ones
for
I
me.
would. Well, see, Wendy's is really inconsistent to me because I don't do
Wendy's
the
is
Baconator fries. But if you just get the regular fries, they're usually salted well, but a lot of times they're soggy.
Yeah. Well, you
I
know,
usually
if
don't
you-
get a side. I usually just get like a spicy chicken sandwich and a burger.
if you took the Baconator toppings off of Wendy fries and put them on better fries, they'd be great.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing that was lacking for me is that I've had rallies with the ranch and the cheese and then the bacon on top of that, and the Rally's fries is such a much better vehicle for those flavors I think than Wendy's. Wendy's toppings though are fantastic; they taste great. So if you took the Rally's fries and then used the Wendy's toppings, that'd be hard to beat right there. But
Well-
for me, it's hard to beat brown gravy on any kind of potato.
Speaking of hard to beat, the Wild Card Podcast.
Oh yeah!
This week on the Wild Card Podcast, you are getting
a Ron-isode.
whatever in the hell Ron wants to talk
Buckle
about.
your seatbelts. I'm completely unprepared today.
Click.
And thank you for listening. We'll see you again next week. This is
What you got for us, Ron? You have a question? You got a mouthful of ice. Is what
I got
he's
a mouthful of ice. That's what I
This is
got.
Ron, the
Typical.
the consummate professional.
this is why Ron gets the big paying jobs.
Yeah.
That's right. You know what? I'm a party.
That's true.
All right.
Or a party.
Before I get into the episode,
I'm a party pooper.
you really are. You're a downer, man.
Yeah.
Debbie
You're
Downer.
like, hey, Jared, do you want to party? And he's like, yeah, I got some tortilla chips at my
And
house.
a book.
And you sound exactly like that.
Tor-
That was a
tortilla
perfect
chips
Jared,
and a-
wasn't it?
yeah, and a
Yeah.
book.
I got some chips and salsa. Let's get turnt. So
I don't even like salsa. Actually.
I don't need salsa on my chips. I just like plain chips.
Chips and some water.
Can I have some corn chips?
All right.
Corn chips and water,
What are you guys
please.
doing Friday night?
Can you guys wash the salt off those
It's
potatoes?
disgusting.
No, that's the one thing
It's
Jared's
disgusting.
like salt.
I do like
Yeah.
salt.
So when you live with Drake, here, Drake, lick the flavor off this chip so I can have the chip.
I'll take it.
I'm gonna eat it. Don't get it soggy. Just
Unless
lift
it was
the
a barbecue
first
chip.
layer
Hey,
off.
if it's a barbecue chip, all mine.
Do you get excited when you see a chip and you're like, there's the flavor? Like it's that one chip in a bag where it's got all the seasoning on it?
No.
I get really thrilled.
Are you a Grippos fan? I'm not a fan.
Some days.
Not really.
It
In
depends on
Evansville,
how
they were
desperate I
everything.
am.
They were everything at Evansville when I was at college. Like Grippos and then ski. Grippos
Oh
and
yeah,
ski.
everybody's nuts about
Evans-
ski, and I
Evans
don't know
love
why.
that.
This is like
It's like
this
Mellow
is
Yellow
shitty,
or Mountain Dew,
this
but not
shitty
good.
Mountain Dew. Yeah,
And Mountain Dew's already kind of bad.
Well, oh no, that's Ale 8 I'm thinking of, where they're like, it'll keep you up for days.
Ale 8's like
it's okay.
ginger ale, but fruity.
Yeah.
I don't want my ginger ale fruity.
It's bottled in Kentucky. Well, whoopty shit.
Well,
So is Coca-Cola.
So is racism, but that doesn't make
Pepsi.
sense.
Well, whoopty shit.
Yeah. So fucking what?
Oh, it's racism. I look. White people.
So is white people. They're everywhere. I've seen them.
I liked Emily Kohler's comment on our last
White people,
podcast.
frowny face.
Oh, yeah.
We also can say only one person commented, and they chose my party.
That's because you have J.K. Rowling.
I did have J.K. Rowling
I
on
knew.
the party.
Yeah,
of course, he's going to choose your
But
party.
she's also the only fan who's going to comment, so I win.
Of course.
You got to cater to Emily.
Not even Billy Joel wanted to come to my party. I invited him.
I think he's there right now.
I don't know you. That's right. He's
It's his life, man.
Well, what it was is that Lorne Michaels, Bruce Willis, and Billy Joel pop their heads in the door and they're like, "Is he here? He's gone. Come on, guys, let's have this dinner party." And we made a cake last night, so they're probably eating my fucking cake.
Bastards.
So, guess what? I've announced that my vacation is coming up here in a couple months.
72 days. Only that was a couple days ago.
Yeah.
I got the
The price. And you decided.
Purchased. No,
So
well,
we're like 64 days away from it.
it'll beat you to death knowing how much I'm spending on Universal tickets. However, I've purchased the rental property.
The beachfront property.
Guess who owns it?
Billy Joe.
Guess. No, not Billy Joel.
Lorne Michaels.
Nobody famous. Guess who owns it?
Jared.
Is it me?
Just guess his first name.
Gary.
It's Gary! Gary's my landlord!
Oh, it's going to be one crappy
man, you're
vacation.
gonna
I'm sorry,
you're gonna
man.
get there and you're gonna open the door and you're gonna smell something. And you're not sure what it's gonna be, and you're like, that sounds vaguely the whiff. I get it. And then you're like searching the house and finally go to the bedroom and you open the door and you step in and you look at your bed and there's just gonna be a turd on the pillow. That's what it is. That's what
And
Gary left you.
when you're walking across the floors, they're going to creak because they're feeling like you're about to fall through them. And that beach that he says is a few feet from his house is going to be contaminated with surgical waste.
A dead whale is going to be on the beach.
Thanks, Gary.
Ugh.
God damn it, Gary.
Hopefully,
right,
Gary
well-
won't listen to our podcast before he rents from you.
Right. I'm gonna get home on Thursday and I'll get an email that's like, "You have been rejected for this rental property. We don't like your kind." So I've got.
Neither do we. To be
Well,
honest.
that's true. I just have a grab bag of topics here.
All right.
I'm gonna do that again. I haven't done that.
So the
for a
wild
long
cards
time.
get off topic 2. Here we
The
go.
wild cards get off.
Let's
topic
start
too.
grabbing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like potpourri.
Potpourri?
The
Which
Jeopardy.
Pope was that?
What is it with you, man?
Potpourri?
No, he said pot. He said potpourri.
Potpourri.
I thought he said
That's
No,
potpourri.
if Ron, if it's gonna be you, it'd be potpourri.
All right, listen. Let's start.
Let's do this.
Let's start by
We're
talking
doing it
about.
already.
Let's talk about movie music.
Let's do it.
What do you guys love? What do you not love? What are some of your favorite composers? Some of your favorite movie compositions, stuff like that. We talked about this during the movies a little bit.
Yeah,
John
during the
Williams,
movies.
Ennio Morricone, which
I'm
is
pulling up
holy
my
crap.
ringtone. I'm pulling up my ringtone right now.
Is it a John Barry ditty? It's not.
John Williams.
It's a John Williams ditty.
Do you know what it is, Jeff?
I know the music, but I can't place the movie.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
I own that soundtrack.
It used to be-
My favorite John
Shit.
Williams composition though is the Cowboys.
I don't know that one.
Oh, that is good, yes. Yes. I like that that particular piece lifts from the Book of Copeland, which is that's the
Aaron
American West song. They would dun 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 dun. dun. That's Copeland, isn't it?
That's
Elmore.
Elmore Bernstein.
That's Elmer
I always
Bernstein.
go
But
Magnificent
Aaron
Seven. If we're going Western, I'd think Magnificent Seven.
Well, that's
another
a
good
great Elmer Bernstein. I'm just talking John Williams. Your favorite
How does
composition.
that Aaron Copeland go? It's like rodeo. It's
Dun,
called
dun,
rodeo.
dun,
or
dun.
something?
Oh, the Aaron Copeland
that was
one?
you,
The
Magnificent
rodeo?
Seven there.
Oh, I've got that on my computer. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I love Aaron Copeland. When I was a child, when I was like 3 years old, I would sit on my mom's bed and tell her to put on that record. And she had this record, this Aaron Copeland record called Billy the Kid, and is a ballet, is what it is. But it is this. it's this orchestrated, but it's kind of cowboy music because it's Billy. And so I would sit there on the bed and imagine this whole movie in my head and it's this fabulous music. It's
Copeland.
It's Copeland, exactly. And so Copeland's actually my favorite composer. And I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying it was like fantastic. And I was 3 years old at this point. It wasn't children's music. It was this fantastic, just the way he orchestrates the instruments and just the sound and the softness and the dynamics of his music.
And it gets to your soul, man.
Da 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 da. That's Copeland.
My brother-in-law would be playing Donkey Kong Country or something. And I was taking an intro to music class at the time, and we got a cassette tape. Remember those kids? Cassette tapes?
No, they don't. The answer is no,
I still have some under my sink.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of them in my room.
Just in case.
Well, I don't really have much of a way to play them very well.
You said under your sink. It makes it sound like when the rapture hits.
When the rapture hits, I'll still be able to listen to the tapes that haven't disintegrated so much that they shriek when you're trying to play them.
I had one that had Appalachian Spring on it.
Yeah.
And so we're playing. No, it was the Empire Strikes Back game for the Super Nintendo system. Tough game though.
Some of the most difficult games.
Tough games, yeah, really hard.
3 Star Wars.
And so we're trying it. And I'm just listening to this tape in the background, which had variation. It had like Rhapsody in Blue, which is another one of my favorites.
Fabulous one.
Gershwin, and then Aaron Copland comes up. And we're trying to win, and then it gets to that denouement moment of da 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 da, and it's pulsing and pounding, and we're like, yeah! And I think we got past.
No,
right. I'd like to think we died, but I think we actually got past. I think it worked. Oh, I loved them. I beat the Return of the Jedi so many times on easy.
And Super Star Wars, not easy, yeah.
Yeah,
so, but let's go back to John Williams because that's something I can talk about.
Oh, John Williams, who
Jaws.
It would
Jaws,
see everybody goes
Star Wars.
Oh, John
Raiders
Williams started with Jaws, but he
Ark.
didn't. He did the Lost in Space music.
He did a lot of stuff before he did Star Wars.
Harry Potter.
He had a great career.
He used to conduct the Boston Symphony in the summer. Their pops.
Yeah.
I would love to do like even if he wasn't involved, like a best of John Williams orchestral performance. Like that would be incredible.
They're on YouTube. They have some on YouTube that are just amazing.
Well, he's got such a variety of styles that he composes in, which I love about him.
So many hits.
Well, so many hits, but it's he can write memorable stuff and he can write just background stuff that isn't memorable depending on what he's doing. Like in Star Wars. Can you imagine even watching the first Star Wars movie without his score? His score made it operatic.
Even though no one's singing. It'd be a B
movie without that score. But the score made it into this operatic thing.
Very
but
dramatic.
Then when you watch the Cowboys, the music isn't operatic. It captures the emotions of it, but it's this memorable earworm that just gets in there that you just want to listen to over and over again. And and the instrumentation that he chooses to use, like in the Cowboys, he's got this harpsichord going. Where else do you usually? I can't think of another movie with a soundtrack where the opening tune has a harpsichord in it.
No.
I can think of 7.
No, you can't.
7 right offhand. I think didn't Temple of Doom open with it, but that was John Williams as well.
Well, it might be, but it wasn't the same. The harpsichord's playing the melody at the.
Oh, not the harpsichord.
The harpsichord.
Yeah. Oh no, I've never.
When that tune is being played, you've got strings around and stuff like that, but you got this harpsichord playing it, and it's this simple thing and so the music's not this blasting thing in your face, but it's like. Oh wow, yeah. And it's showing these horses bucking and stuff like that, and it's like this perfect Western kind of music it's not Western music, but it's this Western music, and that captures the aura of and the feeling and the texture of the visuals that you're going through, and that's what John Williams is brilliant at. He captures the texture of the movie that you're watching, so that you're hearing that texture at the same time that you're watching it. And there are other brilliant composers, but and the best ones all do that. But that's something that John Williams does great. There's great composers who I recognize their sound when I'm watching their movies.
Right.
But I can't sing very many of their songs afterwards. And sometimes that's not the point. Sometimes the music isn't there to be sung at all.
Right.
And
now was Bernstein mentioned Bernstein earlier? Was he also he did Star Trek, didn't he?
No, that's Jerry Goldsmith.
That's Jerry
who
Goldsmith.
was also
Yeah.
amazing. Jerry Goldsmith
Okay.
was incredible.
I took a class on this in college, but that was a number of years
But
ago.
those are movies. His was. I mean, the TV series, the original TV series was somebody else. I don't remember the name of the guy who wrote the theme.
Oh, I couldn't. No, that's Generations, isn't it?
Yeah, but those that 5-note.
Yeah, very 60s-ish.
Yeah, so that was
sound.
written by someone else, but the movies was Jerry Goldsmith.
Yeah.
And one of the things I like about his compositions for the Star Wars movies, or Star Trek movies, I mean, is that he creates these themes for these different space races, like the Klingons, and
elite motifs,
right?
they have.
These motifs, and so even in the first Star Wars movies, when we get the Klingons, and they're still working on their facial features that change from movies to movies, but his leaf motif in that movie is the same every time you see them in every other movie, only it expands, it grows. And you don't realize it until you go back and you see that movie, and it's not one of the better movies, but it's like, oh, musically...
Right, you know what's up.
Musically, this started here with these Klingons in this scene.
Those are the best soundtracks, I think, because of, much like the Shark in Jaws was characterized mostly through John Williams' orchestration.
Oh, that was fantastic, and it's just that cello.
Yeah, the dread that you feel with that,
and you know, I would be tempted to add in all these other things to get that, big sound, that big emotion, but that's not what it calls for. It calls for just that simple. Sometimes it's the simple one instrument doing this simple thing that just captures everything.
I find that it's interesting that when you look at, sometimes the most memorable music is the one where you remember the song.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't notice how important it is.
Yeah.
The class I took in college, we watched Psycho, the shower
Oh,
song.
yes, Bernard Herrmann.
Oh, yeah.
And they take out the music, and it is dull.
No, there's nothing to it.
There's nothing there without the music.
And in fact, Hitchcock didn't want Bernard Herrmann's violin strings.
Yeah.
He wanted some different music, and Bernard Herrmann said, "Let me try this." And when, obviously after he saw it, it was
John Barry's another one.
It is what it is.
John
John Barry's
John Barry's amazing.
Yeah.
Henry Mancini was another one that I was thinking of.
Pink Panther.
Those are catchy tunes. And he has such a style. He puts a stamp on it, and it's those are hummable.
Well, especially for something that's a series, it's great to have that thematic music that can be associated with it, so that every time someone hums it, it makes sense. Them think of that movie, and then when the next one comes out, it has an element of that to it.
Yeah.
Like the James Bond movies. They all start out with dun dun
right.
dun, and you may not get very much of it, but every single one of them has that as you getting that John Barry thing going into that little eye thing.
All you have to hear.
And then it has its own unique song for that show. But it's 007 when you hear dun dun.
Right.
Dun,
Well, even
that was another ringtone I had for a long time.
I had that ringtone for a while too. There's within 5 notes, you can recognize a James Bond
4-note
theme.
Dun, 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 that's 3, and you know it.
And right away,
Yeah.
you hear that and the tempo and everything, and you go, "Oh, that's James Bond."
Yep.
You know it immediately, just like Jaws. You know it immediately.
That's
Halloween by John Carpenter, who is underrated as a musician. John Carpenter is. It's another distinct style, and it's sort of the same synthesized music, but it's really good for what it's for.
Well, I've always, the thing I've admired about John Carpenter, and I don't necessarily like his movies that much, but I like the fact that he writes, directs his own movies, and then he writes his own musical
Yeah, like
score.
he didn't have enough to do.
It's
like, he goes, "I'm going to write this."
This whole thing.
I can only personally name 2 John Carpenter movies, but they're both fantastic. I can name Halloween. Thing.
Yeah. Well, the Halloween, The Thing, The Fog, which The Fog is tremendous. Assault on Precinct 13 is great. That
See, I know those
Halloween.
names. I'm sure what I've seen are remakes of those, though, not the original.
Probably.
Because I've seen remakes of, I think, both those movies.
Now, he did the remake of Children of the Damned, or Village of the Damned.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was really good.
I like
that. Was really good, and The Mouth of Madness was really good. John Carpenter's Vampires, I thought was really good. Ghost of Mars is the only one that I really didn't get into. Escape from New York's great. It's fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a fun little action.
You go in
movie.
knowing what you're expecting
That's
what
it.
you're going
you,
to get.
You don't go to Escape from New York going, well, I'm going to see a highfalutin action film that pushes the boundaries of the genre.
It's an escapist film.
It's just fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a male-oriented fantasy action flick with Kurt Russell, who's just fantastic in everything. He plays Kurt Russell but in everything, but I love Kurt Russell.
But then they should never have made Escape from L.A. because that
holy
just
shit, that was
sucked.
horrible. That was so bad.
Don't.
I was really a little disappointed in that one. I was a lot disappointed in that one because they went, you toe that line between a little too much and just enough in the action goofy kind of thing, and he really crossed the line with going goofy on that, and it was just dumb. It was just a dumb movie, and it was this is when movies were very special effects driven, so much
Unlike
to the point
now.
where the plot, right, yeah, but at least now it adds to what you're seeing in like a movie like the remake of The Haunting by Jan de Bont. It's the movie, and they took one of the finest ghost story novels ever made, if not the best ghost story novel ever made, and they totally just screwed the whole story and went with a big special effects movie that wasn't necessary, and it suffered because of that. And Escape from LA was the same way. They went, hey, let's do a bunch of effects. Didn't work out.
It's because whenever you forget the story or don't pay attention to the story,
that comes
then
secondary.
nothing else matters. It doesn't matter what else you're doing. It doesn't matter how great the music is or the directing or the special effects. If the story sucks, the movie sucks.
Yeah, you got nothing.
The same thing with a musical or any stage play. If the story sucks, the show sucks. It doesn't matter how great your songs are.
We had talked about
or anything else.
Chicago?
Yeah, exactly.
The performances were incredible.
Oh yeah, but
story.
We had talked about a show called Haven, a musical called Haven, where I think I had mentioned Hugh Jeff about it. Really good music, really catchy music. No underscoring, and the book was terrible. I did say music.
I didn't say anything.
Music.
You caught it.
I caught it. I thought about saying something. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to let this one go.
I'm shocked. I can't let you let that go.
I was trying to be generous.
No, don't
You
be
couldn't let him
generous
let
on
it
my
go. I like that. You couldn't let Jared let it go. You had to catch yourself on it.
I had to have him punish me.
Oh, we'll take care of that later.
Moving on. Whoa.
It's not Tuesday.
Moving on. It's close enough. Moving on from that. The Amityville Horror House.
Oh.
This is one I enjoy discussing every once in a
I don't
while.
know that Jeff and I are going to have much to say about this.
God damn it,
But you can
guys.
talk all you want.
All I have is a title. That's all I got. I'm relying today
I
on you
read the
people.
book and I
there
saw
you
the
go.
first movie.
Did you enjoy the book?
I enjoyed the book a lot more than I enjoyed the movie.
The book scared me enough that I had to finish
Yeah.
it because I couldn't go to sleep.
The book actually scared the crap out of me. I was in high school when I read it.
Yeah, I was maybe 19 or 20, and I read the rest of the book because I didn't want to turn out the lights to go to bed. It was probably the scariest book
It's
I've
a
ever
scary
read.
book.
The
Yeah.
Shining is the scariest thing I've ever read.
The Shining is terrifying. Terrifying.
Because I honestly don't usually get scared from books.
I think what makes the
Well,
Amityville
it
Horror
creeps.
novel...
It creeps you out.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what's so
what it is.
scary because it plants these creepy things in your head, and then
Yeah.
it's just
It's
Lore,
not...
creeps
Lore
you out.
Podcast did an episode on the Amityville Horror House, and I don't specifically remember many of the details, but
Yeah.
Lore Podcast is kind of like that for me, where I'll listen to it, I'll live by myself, it'll be over, and I'll be like, all right, well, I know I'm hearing things that aren't what I think they are, but my brain is filling in the gaps
Yeah.
with like what it could be.
Yeah, it's pretty spooky.
The thing is, I'm too rational. I was like, it's not that though. Let's go to sleep.
So we're all aware of the Amityville Horror House. We know, read the books and the movies, whatever.
Maine,
You've
Connecticut.
read a
What state
little
was
bit of it.
What state was it?
New York.
Was it-
Amityville,
oh, really?
New York.
Okay,
Yeah.
Long Island.
that makes sense. Long Island, sketchy place.
The only thing that can be proven to have happened there was that Ronald DeFeo killed his family in 1974 in that house. And then the Lutzes moved in, and they said all this stuff happened. They lived there for 28 days. And then they talked to Jay Anson about it, who decided that they would write a book about it. And it's not Jay Anson's awesome writing skills by any means, because I've read another of his books and it's just terrible. It's almost a journalistic style in the way that he tells it, that you go, oh, this is real. I'm reading something real.
It feels really real when you're reading it.
Yeah. So you're buying into all that stuff. And it's just absolutely terrifying.
A journalistic take's a good one. One of my, I don't want to say it's my favorite books, but
Yeah.
I really like World War Z, the book.
Yeah, that's Max Brooks, right? Yeah.
It's an account, but it's a series of accounts. There's no main character. It's just the interviewer who is interviewing people from all over the world and where they were when certain things were happening during this zombie outbreak. And it's captivating because it's got so much culture in it from different parts of the world. It's very interesting.
No, that's a good way to tell a
kind of an epistolary novel.
So here's the thing, and I've mentioned the Warrens on the show before. And Lorraine
from
Warren
The Conjuring.
came and they
I
were
know
like, "There are
from The
demons.
Conjuring."
There are demons in the Amityville house." The thing is, they go to their neighbor's house. They're like, "Oh my God, there's demons!"
All the
and then
demons.
they go to another. Every visit they've ever made, they're like, "There's demons in this house."
Confirmation bias.
And it's not ever ghosts or poltergeists or yon banshee. It's demons. Always demons. Demons everywhere. I think they're full of shit. I don't know them personally. That's not making a statement about them. I just think
you did just make a
just
statement about
said,
them.
let me retract
They're
that.
full of shit.
They're either full of shit
Or
and
unlucky?
I think this is the most likely explanation. They believe that what they're saying is true. I don't believe what they're saying is true.
That doesn't mean they're not full of shit just because they believe it.
Well, I don't want to say they're maliciously lying or anything. They've been accused of such, obviously, to, capitalize on their fame and all that. I don't think they're doing that.
I'm not saying... I think you should stand by your first statement that they're full of shit. That doesn't mean they're maliciously lying.
Well,
it just means that they're full of shit.
I don't want to say that. I don't want to say they're full of shit as in they're trying to scam somebody. I don't think they were scamming people. I think they probably genuinely
there are
believed
probably
there were
things they
demons
were
everywhere.
looking for.
That's
that
it.
they drew conclusions from.
Right.
And the conclusions were not, the evidence doesn't lead to those conclusions.
Right. If we can define full of shit as saying they don't know
what the fuck they're talking
what
about?
the fuck they're talking about. I think they thought they knew what the fuck they were talking about, and they convinced many people that they knew what they were talking about. I don't think they were on the right track by saying everybody's a demon, everything is a demon everywhere.
Absolutely. All the demons.
Yeah. Their little museum was a neat idea. I'd have loved to have seen some of the artifacts, or whatnot. If it was no more than a quarter that I had to pay to get into the museum. Otherwise, thanks. It made for a lot of good entertainment. They probably meant well, but nah.
I'd rather visit the Winchester's house and just be allowed to roam.
Ever since I was a kid.
I just want to roam.
I've
Jessica
always
Russo's
wanted to
been
visit
there.
it. Has she?
Yeah, what did she say?
I mean, she after our episode on it, she just mentioned she'd been there.
Oh, okay.
The Lizzie Borden house is a bed and breakfast, too. I don't know that I'd want
That's
to
kind of creepy.
Isn't it weird? Like sleep where the mother was hatcheted to death. That's a word, right? It's a term.
Hatcheted.
Hatcheted.
I believe
Where she
it.
was axed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
how do you guys feel about Chef Boyardee pizza?
Never had it.
We've done a whole... Never. It's so good.
I'm not big on Chef Boyardee anything.
Oh, I like Chef Boyardee. I like the chef.
In my pantry, I do have Chef Boyardee pasta. But the
Like
thing
the
is,
ravioli?
no, I'm a child.
Okay.
It's like not the
Like the
ABC
dinosaur.
like the dinosaurs, exactly.
Yeah, of course.
It's not like ever a dinner, but sometimes it's a 10:30 and I'm kind of hungry, but I've had dinner, so it's like I'll throw a can in there and microwave it for 3 minutes or whatever. And
if I'm working from home, Chef Boyardee's great.
that or like
Nuke it
Campbell's
for 3
chicken noodle
minutes and you're
soup,
good.
like
Man, I can only eat that when I'm sick.
Yeah.
I think I've
It's
connected
nostalgia
it
thing for
mentally
me.
with
my grandparents.
with being
It's something
sick,
that I've
and
always
so
done
now I'm
well.
like, I'm not eating soup till I'm sick.
Okay. But that's what that is. It's like a comfort mini meal.
I get that.
But I've never had the pizza because the thing is when we had pizza,
I love the pizza.
Frozen pizza. It was always like DiGiorno, Freschetta.
Right,
Like it now.
Tony's.
When I was a kid, it was like Totino's Red Baron.
See, in the 80s, there was frozen pizza, but it was more
Do it yourself.
The
Yeah, I never had
kits
that.
were kind of all the rage back to make your own
but they
pizza.
still had the regular frozen pizza.
if you've
I
got
didn't
a
know
bacon-
Chef Boyardee even made frozen pizzas, to be quite honest.
No, they don't make frozen
it's
pizza,
The
it's the
sauce.
box.
It's the sauce and
You
the
get
cheese.
the box
Oh,
and the sauce
that?
and all that.
Oh.
I love that stuff. No. So you don't care for it.
No,
we love it. I put green olives and smoked sausage and
I'm going to-
pepperoni on it. Oh, it's so good.
I mean, it's been a few years since I've made pizzas. I used to make really, really good pizza.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to make pizza at home, I'm going to make a good pizza. I'm not going to make
A box of pizza.
I'm not going to make a
I
box of
love a
pizza.
box of pizza.
If I'm going to just have someone else's pizza, I'm just going to buy frozen pizza.
Right,
If
that's
I'm going to
kinda
go through
why
the
I-
trouble of making a pizza, I'm going to make the pizza myself.
Wendy Ernst makes Chef Boyardee pizzas this little masterpiece of cooking.
Brought us one.
Yeah, she
it a
brought one
rehearsal
to
or
the
for the live show or
to-
something?
to the live show.
Yeah.
And it was so tasty. It was good. She does the mushrooms that she soaks in vinegar and does it that way. And then she'll put those in there and hamburger and sausage.
Remember the hamburger,
And the
yes.
cheese. Oh, they're good. They're really good. I like mine too. But Wendy's does a good job. The other day, I had a thought about. I regret that Bob Fosse never lived to direct Cats because it would be called Cats.
Yep, I'm with you.
That's exactly it.
That's all you got to say about that?
And that, yeah.
Glorious. Now, are you a fan of the musical Cats?
I enjoy it for what it is. It's kind of like watching Escape from New York, but in musical form.
See, Cats is a musical I will see pretty much any time.
Well, that's
But
the
it's
thing.
not a musical I would ever recommend to another human being.
Yeah,
Because I would not feel comfortable that anyone would enjoy it.
Well, that's the thing.
Like there are some, like how many... Would you say that every show you do, you tell people to come see?
No.
There are some shows that I've done where I'm like, some people will like this, and if you're like, you'll enjoy parts of this. But Cats is one I would never recommend to a single person.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that anyone would enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about Cats. I can listen to the music of Cats anytime.
Yeah, music's
I enjoy
great.
the music.
It's beautiful.
Sitting through Cats on stage is tedious.
It's really overly long.
It's really
I saw
hard.
it twice when Youth Theater Far encountered it.
I saw it twice
saw it
on
once.
the Broadway series in '90s.
Well, is that when was it Angela Lansbury?
No, she
Okay.
went in the cast.
Who was the original Memory? Who sang? Was it?
That was Betty.
yes.
God
damn it.
Betty something. She played Abby, the mother Abby on 8 is Enough.
She's great. She was great. At one point, Patti LuPone played her, but surprise.
But the Cats, the story is so freaking weak that it's like
there's no story.
There's no story, and so it's like sitting through these vignettes of songs, and it's like okay for a while, and then it's like okay, I just want to go. I've had enough. And it's not that anyone's performance is bad or that the show's bad, but there's nothing to keep you interested from one thing to the next.
That's like I gotta stay for the second act so I can see the
Elaine
tiger
Page.
fight.
Right.
Elaine Page was the
Elaine
original.
Page, that's her.
Okay.
Elaine Page, who belted it out. There was another Betty though.
Betty
or
Buckley.
Betsy or some Betty Buckley. Betty Buckley.
Yeah.
Betty Buckley did it. Yeah. Both. I mean,
Barry
great
Manilow
song.
did it.
Who did?
Barry Manilow.
Did
Barbara
Cats?
Streisand. No, singing
did
this
Memory.
song.
Oh,
Did
Memory.
Yeah.
this song.
Barbara Streisand singing Memory is really at the bottom of things I ever want to experience in my life.
Oh, Barbara Streisand singing anything she does a great job.
I respect Barbara Streisand. Not my favorite though.
Well, I can't say that I own a Barbara album.
Right.
He can say he owns 4 though.
That's right.
Well, no. Here's the thing. Barbara is an amazing singer.
She's great.
She's a fantastic singer,
performer.
and if you
Entertainer.
Yeah.
She's
an entertainer, and if you enjoy what she does, she would captivate you every single time.
Yeah.
And I would put Barry Manilow in that category. I've always liked Barry.
I like Barry
I like
Manilow.
some of Barry's songs.
Yeah.
It wasn't until Joe and I were dating that I ever went to a Barry Manilow concert, I never had any desire to go.
Sure.
And I can say this from going to a Barry Manilow concert: it's one of the most amazing shows you could ever sit through in your life.
People go nuts over his live
People
shows.
go nuts over his live show and because they're so freaking fantastic, and it's Barry Manilow. I mean,
Right.
it's not. You're thinking, okay, well, it's kind of this milk toast music, and
No.
but he puts on such an amazing performance, and he has a lot of hits.
Oh yeah.
But it's I can't even describe it's not like you're going to an arena stadium rock show with things exploding.
No,
it's not that kind of show, but it's still this amazing performance. He knows how to work his crowd.
Oh sure.
And even if you didn't like his music, you would want to go to another show.
The all I want to do is see him do "Ready to Take a Chance Again"
Yeah.
and watch him perform at that big dramatic swell
Right.
during that song, and it would be overwhelming. I'm sure. Barry Manilow's great. He's got a lot of great tunes. I'd like to see.
He sang One Voice with Straight No Chaser, and I really liked it.
I get
That's all I have to say about Barry
No,
Manilow.
Barry Manilow's great. I think that Barbara Streisand sung by different people would be great. Like Anne Murray could sing all of Barbara Streisand songs, and it'd be fine.
So
with me.
what is it? Her voice or her delivery or the arrangement of the songs that you don't like, or is it her interpretation of the songs? Why do you think you would like her song sung by someone else better than it being sung by her?
I can't say. I just want to hear somebody else sing Evergreen.
There are some people have incredible talent, but you're just not interested.
That's it.
Like
That's
for me,
exactly
and this
what it
is, I don't care for Meryl Streep. I don't. It's not that she's not good. She's one of the greatest of all time. Pass. Not interested.
I like her
Probably-
if she were
probably
only
because-
in the projects that she should be in, rather than let's put Meryl Streep in because people buy tickets.
Well,
I thought Into the Woods was poorly cast that way.
well,
And that's honestly
Here's the
probably
problem.
my biggest fear
Yeah.
of her is that,
well,
that part.
here's the problem with Into the Woods.
So
is
put Bernadette Peters.
Absolutely.
Just put her
But
back in.
why not?
I don't care how old she is.
But here's the thing: if you had never seen the Bernadette Peters version of Into the Woods,
Yeah.
the Meryl Streep performance wouldn't bother you.
You're right. If I didn't know all the things
that
about
is
Into the
true.
Woods, I wouldn't be bothered by it.
That's right. So I think, while I prefer the Bernadette Peters performance of The Witch as well, because I've seen that video of
many
that
times.
Broadway production so many
it's
times.
I
ingrained.
actually own
It's
it. I own
ingrained.
that on
We
DVD.
did
I
too.
own it. I've watched it. Madeline loves it. I played it for her. But if you had never seen that, the choices that Meryl Streep makes for the movie are good choices.
They're fine. They're
Well,
fine.
I would rather Meryl Streep come in and perform The Witch with her choices than imitating someone else's choices.
That's
Even
fair.
if I
That's-
like,
that's-
even if I like that
absolutely
other
fair.
person's
I agree
choices
with you.
better. I like the guy who played the Baker better in the play
James
Oh.
Corden.
than I did in the movie.
Oh, that would be Chip something.
Zane or Zale or
Chip Zien.
Yeah.
I thought he was a much better baker, but it could also be that because I've seen that 30 or 40 times
Yeah.
that I'm just prejudicing it. My problem with the movie,
Yeah.
and I've got several problems with the movie. My first problem is when you love a musical, a stage version so much, and you go see the movie, you're going to be disappointed
Yeah.
because it can't live up to
can't.
what.
Yeah, you're
what-
right.
So, taking that away from it, the next problem is that it was sold as a Disney musical,
Right.
which is, while it was put out by Disney, it is not a Disney musical.
nothing
No, it's a
Disney about it.
Sondheim.
A Disney,
It's a Broadway.
right? It's a
It's
Sondheim
also
musical.
dark.
Yeah.
It's very dark. I went and saw it in the theater twice.
I saw it
and,
once in theater.
and
went
there
back.
are always kids in there, and I always thought to myself, these kids are not going to get what's going on. They're
No.
going to be disappointed. And the kids, there'd always be some kids saying, "Is it over yet?" Or
Right.
and they didn't understand what was going on because it's not for kids. Anyone who thinks that Into the Woods, because it's about these fairy tale characters,
No.
is for children,
It has
no,
are
so
mistaken.
much to say.
Children's
It
show.
has so much to say
Yeah.
about
Right.
parenting and about adulthood
Absolutely.
and getting what you want and
Right.
are you sure you know what you want
Right.
and what do you do when you get it and
Right.
there's
So it was
so much there.
It was marketed to the wrong audience. It's not a children's musical. It's not a children's show.
But I tried to back off of some of the things to make it more like one of my favorite moments in the show is the song Agony by the
Yeah.
Princes and about how these things they want. And then at the end of
Yeah.
Act 1, they get what they want. And then in
Right.
Act 2, there's a reprise
Right.
of Agony where they want something different.
Yep.
Well, because
And there's so
what
much
you want
in
is
that.
not necessarily what you really
what you
want.
think
It's
you
the
want.
searching.
Right,
It's the
exactly.
searching that they enjoy.
Yeah.
Once they have it, they
Right.
don't care.
Yeah,
It's-
but
right.
they backed
Right.
off of that in the
Right.
movie. And
Well-
I get they're trying to cut time somewhere, but I think that's an important
Well,
moment.
I think so too.
I was disappointed that they cut out the second Agony too, because I actually like that one song better
Yeah,
than the
the
first
first
one.
one.
Yeah.
But I understand many of the choices that they made because you can't in the movie you can't just end it and then come back after intermission and start
Right.
start
Right.
Act 2. So you have to find a way of connecting Act 1 and Act 2 with the movie. And I didn't think it worked particularly
agree.
well in the movie,
No,
but I
absolutely not.
understood why they did it there. And by having to do it there, it didn't give them time to bring in these other things that were happening in Act 2, like the
I think-
second act, Agony, because that's not supposed to happen a year or 2
Yeah,
years or
time-wise.
time-wise, and that time didn't pass in
And
the movie.
I think one of my biggest problems with it is the cut of the mysterious man narrator role.
Yeah.
I get
Oh,
in a movie,
that killed
in
me.
a
Yeah,
movie,
yes.
it's hard to have a narrator. Like he's not just standing
Right.
up front telling the audience what's happening. But there's so funny when the character is in the story he's telling, sacrifice him to the giant.
Yeah.
That
Right.
is so funny. Like,
That-
it's such
that
the
is so
breaking
funny,
of the
I know.
wall. But also the connection between the baker and his father.
Yep.
That is told over they gave all of that to the witch.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
again, she's Meryl Streep. She's incredibly talented. But you lose so much of the story in the idea of what his parent did to him. So, and then he becomes his dad to his child by leaving it.
Right.
But then his dad comes and says, "Don't be like me," and he goes back to his kid. Like that moment is so beautiful in the musical.
Right.
really
I-
watered down a lot of great messages.
Yeah.
I would contend that I agree with everything that you just said, but I don't think they gave it to Meryl Streep because they wanted to give her more to do. I think they cut that character because they didn't know how to make it function to have the narrator suddenly being fed
I'd
to
agree
the
with that.
giant.
Well, what I mean by
agree with
the parts they gave to Meryl Streep weren't the narrator's parts. It was the mysterious man in Act
Right.
1
Right, the
who's
exposition.
helping them along.
Yeah.
He's
Right.
like, you'll need this, you
Right.
know, go get the cows over here, go do this, and they
Right.
give all that to Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
Which, and again, the thing is she can't touch any stuff, but she sees it there. But I just love the mysterious man as and then he shows up in the end of Act 1 and like helps them and reveals he's the dad.
Right.
And,
But I wish the mysterious man had been there. I wish that the father thing, but I don't think they could have. They couldn't have done the narration.
I agree. The narrator part,
No,
I don't
no.
see how they fit it in, but
I-
I think the mysterious man could have still been there.
And that's my favorite part is when the narrator is fed to the giant on the
Right.
plate.
Yeah,
that's
the
one of my
steward-
favorite
the
parts.
steward
Yeah,
sacrifices.
But
funny.
there,
It's just
but
funny.
when you
Little
change
Red pulls
medium,
a knife on him.
when you change medium, there's just some things
Yeah.
you lose.
Yeah.
No, it's you just
And
can't
I'm so
present
surprised
things.
that's one they decided to go for because it's such a niche kind of.
Yeah.
But James Lapine wrote the screenplay. The choices he made,
Yeah.
because
they're his.
Are his choices. He wrote the screenplay just like he wrote the libretto, or I mean, he wrote the script for it's the libretto, the book for the play.
Yeah.
For the stage version, and he directed the movie. So James Lapine
Got what he
made
wanted.
he made the creative choices that he chose to do, and Stephen Sondheim was part of it too. So they made the choices that they wanted to make as creative people who felt, and sometimes those choices you make aren't choices that you love, but they're the choices that you have to make to solve a problem.
Sure. Right.
And I find that both with directing and sometimes there's choices I make that aren't the most elegant or greatest choices, but it's the choice that you have to make to solve that problem. And the same
Right.
with Heroicus when we were doing it at State or doing a workshop or just writing it. Sometimes the choices you make, the creative choices, are about solving problems,
Right.
not just storytelling.
No, you have to get the job done. That's what it all comes
One
down
thing
to.
about Into the
Get
Woods, the movie I'm
job done.
okay with, that I didn't think I would be, I'm fine with Johnny Depp in it. It was a
Yeah,
kind
I'm
of
okay
small
with that.
role, character
I'm okay
role.
with that.
I'm not a big Johnny Depp fan in general. Like, there aren't many movies I can name him in that I really
Yeah.
enjoy. But I thought he was fine in that. I was going in expecting to hate him.
Yeah.
I didn't.
No, I thought he was fine. I didn't think he was necessary at all. in
Well,
that
the
part.
character is necessary, I think, for Little Red's arc.
The character is necessary. It could have been played by anyone else, but
Have you guys? We talked a little bit about this during the movies. You guys have seen Apocalypse Now?
No.
yes.
Okay, Robert Duvall's character, the most awesome son of a bitch, I think, in any war film ever, is Robert Duvall in Apocalypse Now.
All right. Was he the general wearing the hat coming out of the helicopters? What?
Yeah, he's the surfer. The one
The
they
okay.
had to clear that village solely so that he and his men could surf.
Okay. You can tell it's been a long time since I've seen the movie.
Oh yeah,
but-
Mackenzie and I started watching it last night. We got an hour through and we went, "Oh my god,
there's still
so
2
much
hours
has
to go."
happened. So much has happened, and I'm so tired." It's a tedious film.
It is a tedious film.
But when you're watching, it's like the museum is tedious when you go, oh, all these beautiful paintings. It's every shot is gorgeous
Did you-
and it
did you
really
see The
gets into your
Revenant
soul.
with,
No,
DiCaprio?
but it's on my list. It's
I will
definitely on my
probably
list.
never watch it again in my life. I have no desire at all to go back to it.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad I saw it in cinemas.
There are a lot of movies like that.
Artistic, the scope,
Yeah.
the acting choices were good. I thought. Oh gosh, his name's eluding me. The guy's playing Venom this year. Hardy.
Tom Hardy, yeah.
Tom Hardy was great in it.
Yeah.
DiCaprio was fine. Like, he's gonna get nominated because of all the things he had to do for the movie.
Right.
But Hardy was a much better actor in it. And
Yeah.
He was
Yeah, Hardy's
because he was
really
the
good.
villain in it. And
Of course,
really
he's a great
interesting.
villain.
now, wasn't Harrison Ford in Apocalypse Now? He's like in the
was.
first scene. He's
Really?
like
He's at the very beginning.
He's like the guy at the chalkboard, or
He briefs Martin
Doing the
Sheen's
brief,
character,
yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that tells him this is what your mission is, this is who Colonel Kurtz is, this is what he did, and everything like that. But what struck me about Robert Duvall in that movie is that, first of all, the character is just tough, and he's unshakable. He's standing there while there's mortars going off nearby him. He's not flinching or anything, he's just barking orders and wanting to get it done. He's not scared, and even Martin Sheen makes the statement that this is the kind of guy that's going to come into the war, not get a scratch and walk out, and he knows it. And so he's just confident the entire way. He's ballsy. I love that character, and I love the napalm in the morning speech. I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
I
It
haven't
smelled
seen
like
Apocalypse
victory.
Now, but the way you're describing it kind of reminds me of, you saw Kong Skull Island.
Yes,
Samuel L.
yes.
Jackson's character.
Yeah, very similar
But
character.
Samuel L. Jackson's character, I don't know if this is true of the character from Apocalypse Now, needed war. Because that was the only place he felt in control.
No, Martin Sheen is the one that needed war.
Okay.
But Kilgore, he's getting the job done, and then he's going home to surf.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But his intensity is very much Samuel L. Jackson's in Skull Island. So you can definitely make a connection there. Duvall was just brilliant in it. And then his last line in the whole movie, spoiler alert, he doesn't get killed. His last line in the movie, and I'm paraphrasing, is something like, the war will be over someday. This war will be over someday. And he says it so casually. Just like, well, when it's over, it's over. It's out of my hands, but while I'm here, it is what it is. And Coppola never shies away from showing you what Vietnam was.
Yeah.
It was an unflinching eye. Really intense movie.
It is an intense movie.
Gets into you.
But it's not, I mean, it takes place in Vietnam. It's not about Vietnam.
Yeah, we had talked about that a few weeks ago. But it makes several statements about Vietnam.
Well, yeah.
It never shies away from it. And the scenes that I'm talking about, those are very war movie kind of things. The helicopter siege upon that village.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing scene.
Yeah.
It's borrowed a bit, and I know that image. It's borrowed a bit in Kong Skull Island, but it's also borrowed a bit in Watchmen.
Which I don't remember.
Okay,
I've
there's
seen
a moment
it, but I
where
don't remember.
they're going to Vietnam,
Yeah.
but they've got superheroes, air quotes, that are like ending the war, but you still
Right.
get some of that slaughter. But this time it's more us doing the slaughtering because of what they've got, but it's still tough to watch.
Yeah, I'm not a huge war movie fan, but if I watch a war movie, I need it to not just be all these people are getting killed for nothing.
Yeah.
There needs to be a humanistic aspect.
That's why
of it all.
That's why Enemy at the Gates was my answer, because I love Enemy at the Gates is a movie during war.
Yeah.
But it's about the people.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, I think that's a great movie. I also think Platoon is a fantastic actual Vietnam movie.
And I've only seen it once.
But Charlie Sheen's journey as from just getting to Vietnam to the end of the movie and surviving these two different sergeants who are trying to be good conscience, bad conscience,
Right.
And it's a fantastic movie. There's also a Vietnam War movie that was made with Sean Penn and
Casualties of War.
Casualties
Michael
of
J.
War,
Fox.
Michael J.
I've never
Fox.
seen it. I've read about it.
It's an amazing.
Wow.
It's in the great.
That's a combination right
It's
there.
in a great.
Barry
It's an amazing
Levinson,
movie.
maybe? I need to know.
Because Sean Penn plays this sergeant who. A friend of his gets killed at the beginning of the movie, and so he and his platoon, when they're going on this mission, they kidnap this Vietnamese girl, and they plan on raping her, and
Michael J. Fox.
And Michael J. Fox stops them.
Yeah, he's the good
That
guy.
makes more sense.
And then
Right.
reports them, and then it's this whole battle about no one wants to believe Michael J. Fox. No one wants to take his report seriously because they don't want to do anything to
You
these
don't want to
soldiers.
tarnish the
Right,
badge.
and so in the end, this he finally tells this what happened to this priest, who then makes the machinery of the military start moving to do something about this and go to this trial. It's this amazing movie, and it that again takes place in Vietnam. It's kind of about Vietnam, but it's really about standing your ground against your friends and the people who are keeping you alive.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to do something that is wrong.
Brian De Palma directed that one. So there
Now,
you go on that.
I had-
Ennio Morricone did the
I had an
music.
interesting movie brought up by some of my students this week. One I would not have expected them to like just because it's a little bit older than they are. But what are your thoughts on Forrest Gump?
I hate Forrest Gump.
I like Forrest Gump.
I despise
I was charmed by it.
I despise every second of that movie. I never.
Why is that? Even Alan Silvestri's
I actually liked it quite a
orchestration.
bit.
I don't know. I don't remember his orchestration because I hated the movie so
love
much.
it.
When
I'm
Forrest
shocked
Gump
here.
came out, I wanted
heard
nothing
anyone
to do
hating
with
it.
the movie. My brother loves the movie, so he sent me money to go see the movie. So I went and saw the movie, and I hated the experience. And I think part of the reason I hate the experience is because at that time I was working with people with developmental disabilities, and they're trying to make Forrest Gump into this person who has these developmental disabilities, but then he's doing all these fantastic things,
Right.
and it's just stupid. It would never happen. It's unbelievable, and I'm not saying it mocks anybody, but I just can't stand it. I can't stand the movie. I can't stand Gump. I can't stand anybody else in the movie, and I never want to see the movie ever again in my life.
Like
and I hate even having this conversation
because
I despise it.
I like the music. That's fine, because we're not done talking about it yet. Because
well, what I like about the Beatles,
I think it is. I think it is incredibly manipulative as a movie.
I'd agree with that.
I agree with that.
But Robert Zemeckis is a manipulative filmmaker. Yeah. He'll force your hand there.
Yeah.
He'll get inside.
It's very, and well before this, but Guardians of the Galaxy in terms of, hey, you know this song. You love this song.
Yeah.
Check this song out. Now we're using this one. You love this one too. I feel in Guardians of the Galaxy is very much like that. But that's, my students brought it up and they're all like 14, 15 years old, or 15, 16 years old. I'm like, Forrest Gump, huh?
Yeah, it's got legs.
Unlike Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.
See, that's what I hate. I hated the endless Forrest Gump impressions that came after it, and then the continual usage of the. If I hear that again, I'm.
But the whole thing, that whole running thing, that was so fucking stupid. I mean. He starts running one day, and then he doesn't stop running, and then people start running with him, and they turn him into some kind of Messiah character because he's running, and then his hair gets really long while he's running because he never stops, and then one day he stops running, and he's sitting, and it's like, what the fuck?
So I'm assuming you've not read any of the book.
No!
Winston Groom.
I don't want nothing to do with that.
Forrest is not likable. Because he's a product of Alabama. So he is a racist in this. And it's the point that's made, I believe, is that he doesn't know any better because his surroundings made him into that. He's not a bad guy because he's very simple. He's a product of those times. And they totally whitewash the film.
Yeah.
Thoroughly whitewash the film. It's very little about
heck, he becomes a Black Panther
really.
one time.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. Yeah. It's Forrest Gump, and instead of making really any real impact, he's just fumbling his way into these different situations. His way through the movie. That's pretty much it. I love the movie. I have no problem with it.
I don't watch it when it's on TV. Like I don't. It's not one of the movies I'll stay on for very long. But
I just know both Tarantino and Frank Darabont, because Pulp Fiction was in the same running during the Academy Awards at that time. And Shawshank Redemption was in the running at that same time. And it's one of those just unfortunate times to have made an amazing artistic film when Forrest Gump is released. Because it swept the Oscars completely.
Undeservedly. It should have been burned and never released.
And Tom Hanks should be killed.
No, I love Tom Hanks.
Castrated and killed.
No, I don't want any of that. I don't want anything bad to happen to all the fabulous people who made this horrible wreck of humanity.
Haley Joel Osment.
Haley Joel Osment. He played Baby Forrest.
So what you want to see on here? One thing I want to make sure we do before this episode is over is I want Jeff to talk a little bit about the dates for Annie, because I know that's coming up.
Yes.
Pretty soon. I think we're probably at the end of this one.
We are less than 3 weeks out.
Things. I've got Jimmy Buffett, the Rolling Stones, nautical video games, Indiana Jones, comfort foods, planes, trains, and automobiles, Fantastic Beasts. There's plenty there. I was actually wanting to get Jeff's take on Bob Dylan, because so many people... I think he's a great songwriter. I don't listen to his songs.
Well, he's a fabulous songwriter, although, like anybody who's been writing songs for 4 decades, though, there's great songs, and then there's a whole lot of stuff that...
I find his affect to be kind of off-putting.
I don't really like... I've got a couple of his albums, but I don't really like listening to Bob Dylan because I can't stand his voice.
That's what I meant. Yeah. That's what I meant by affect.
I mean, he's not... he's not a good...
Tom Petty made it work. He has kind of a nasal
Tom Petty,
sound.
I like a lot.
Yeah, but Tom Petty isn't tone deaf.
Well, and his also, I think, rocks a little more, which is
right.
What he does.
He stays in tune better. Bob Dylan, I mean, if you listen to his early stuff, he can actually carry the tune. I mean, it's still the Bob Dylan, that whiny thing that he's got. How many roads can I mean? But he's in tune. As he gets older and he's smoked more and he's drunk more and he's done more drugs, all he can do now is rasp. It's how many rounds? And it's like I cannot stand listening to somebody who can't sing. I would much rather listen to anybody sing his songs, and then maybe I would like his songs again.
Right.
But I can't hear the song through his performance of his songs anymore.
The only thing I really love from him is they do in The Times They Are Changing in Watchmen. And
Yeah.
so that song with the way they were going through time, it's beautiful, that art.
Again, great song.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
Great song.
There's a lot of his songs.
Dylan is singing it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of his songs that have been covered by other people that you don't realize that Dylan wrote it until you go back and you see that it was written by Dylan, or that you hear him do a version of it.
Right. Well, same could be said for who did Tapestries? What's her name?
Carol King.
Carol King. I almost said wrong.
It's amazing. It's amazing how many songs she wrote that were hits
that nobody knows about.
There's a
Beautiful.
musical.
I know it's a great. I saw it. I saw it. I went in there with low expectations because to me it was going to be a jukebox musical.
That's what I thought.
Which is what it is. But it's really about her writing all these amazing songs and her life with her husband and
the horrible shit that these men in her life kind of
exactly that led her to then in the end make the Tapestry album, which got her Grammys and all this other stuff. So it's this amazing story, and the songs work in that because they're instead of a lot of jukebox musicals, they'll try to make these songs into songs that people are singing like a musical.
Right.
In her musical, those songs aren't being sung as musicals; they're being sung as songs.
They're just
within the musical, and so it works that way because that's what they are. They're songs. They're not dialogue.
No, they're not meant to tell that story.
There's like almost 30 songs in that musical, and
and she didn't write every one of them, I don't think.
No,
they're still awesome.
She wrote most of them.
Songs.
There's a competition between her and her husband and this other couple who wrote some other hit songs too, and they you can see how they're being competitive with each other made both of them write better stuff.
Right.
And so it's a great show. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
and it was a great history lesson of Carol King's life.
Yeah, I never knew any of that about Carol King. Chris Christopherson is another one who's everybody's done his songs. Yeah. And I'd like to hear Chris Christopherson do Chris Christopherson songs.
Yeah,
I like that Sam Elliott-ish delivery that the man has about his singing. He was one of the Highwaymen. I love the Highwaymen.
Yeah. All right, Jeff. As we wrap up this week on the Walker Podcast, will you give some information about Annie, how that's coming along, and when that is?
Annie is coming along pretty well. Warbucks is awesome. Yeah.
not even bald enough yet. Though.
I have a really good cast. By the next time we do a podcast, Ron will be bald.
I can't wait for that. After you deal with my mustache,
totally bald.
So
I said yesterday I'm going to look like a bed knob.
Just to give you a warning, that I was rereading the script for Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
The Tale in Scarlet. That's going to be next January. We got a long time before that happens, but. Watson it's routinely mentioned how dark Watson is.
How dark, like swarthy, tan.
No, because if he was serving in Afghanistan, I'm like, is Bart gonna make me tan?
Wow,
I've never been tan.
I think your tan would be awfully pink.
I don't burn too badly, actually.
Really?
When I was young, I burned really badly. Now I actually do tan a bit.
I would expect you.
I've got so many freckles.
So much.
Like my freckles tend to just get darker. So. We'll see. So
but
back to Annie, the things that actually matter.
Yeah, the important things
that are coming up soon.
Well, we open on the 8th. We have 4 performances over the 8th, 9th, and 10th. We have 2 performances on the 9th, the Saturday. We have a matinee and then a regular 7 o'clock performance. Then we are the following weekend, the 14th through the 17th, and we'll be doing 5 performances then, Thursday, Friday, then 2 performances on Saturday, and then the Sunday. It's going to be a really good show. We're done blocking it. We've started running the trying to tie the scenes together, polishing it up. I've got a really fabulous cast. Ron is Warbucks, right? Lindy Dale is my Annie.
She's great to work with.
I've got
awesome.
Moira Taylor is
Grace.
I've got Kathy Thompson is Hannigan. I've got great orphans.
Blake, gotta mention Blake.
I've got great orphans who are, some of them are taller than I would want, but they all are. They're a fabulous group.
They're good. Yeah, Kenzie Blair.
Kenzie Blair is
both your daughters.
A phenomenal actress. She's a phenomenal.
Kenzie is fabulous. Blake is fabulous. Jake is fabulous.
Jake does such a great job.
Yeah,
I told Jake the other day that of all the Roosevelts I've seen on YouTube, because I've seen a lot of different Roosevelts on YouTube, Jake's the best.
He looks nothing like Roosevelt, but he sounds enough like him, and he embodies the spirit of Roosevelt.
He's been studying Roosevelt. He's been studying Roosevelt, and he's getting that accent down. And then when he does the Roosevelt songs, it's just the funniest thing to go through.
When he does Roosevelt in the '80s, and he's like, Iran. I ran so far away.
Yeah.
It's just so funny.
It's so much better than what Ron did.
Yeah, no, I couldn't even.
Because he does it with this Kennedy accent.
It's so funny.
So it's going to be a really funny and fun show. So you should come and see it. Get tickets. I don't know the phone number off the top of my head.
270-351-0577.
There it is.
There you go.
I've had it memorized since 1989.
So a couple years.
Couple years
I was
now.
2.
You were a baby.
So as we're wrapping up here, we'd love to hear your thoughts on the podcast. I'll tell you this. We've got some ideas swirling around.
Oh, yeah.
About Wildcard Media.
You guys are going to get some treats
doing
hopefully
some
soon.
stuff showing up in the future. So if you're interested, we'd love to hear from you. I just during this podcast got an email that Donovan posted on the Wildcard Face Off episode. His thoughts on some of the movie fights.
Oh,
Yeah, he was agreeing with people, disagreeing with people, and so some good
Well
stuff in
done,
there.
Donovan.
We'd love to hear from you guys on that. We'll report if you guys make some comments. We might be able to share some on an episode sometime.
Yeah, Tony Durham actually posted about Castle Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Said he had been there. I didn't respond
That's
to
awesome,
it.
yeah.
I don't often respond to things. I just
Yeah.
go. I got to go back to
But we love to mention it on
ignoring
the
the
podcast.
world.
Yeah.
when I'm not in this room.
By the way, Donovan agreed with me. His favorite director was, he said, again, favorite, best director, he said Edgar Wright. So
Edgar
that's
Wright is awesome.
Me. 2 for me, suckers.
Well, and then Moira's on Jeff's side.
Moira's on my team.
Moira Taylor was
Yeah.
totally Team Jeff. I have nobody
Did
on
she
my
post
side.
it?
Yes, you did.
Dang it. Okay.
No, but yeah, it's unofficial, but I've heard it.
Okay.
And that's a vote against me, so.
She put it in a comment.
Really?
Did she put it in a comment?
think
Oh, she did. She did. She
that?
hashtagged it and everything.
It was on Twitter?
It was on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
she
usually-
hashtagged
I
that.
usually-
Team
Team
Jeff. Team
Sorry,
Jeff.
Ron.
Oh,
Team
that's
Team
right,
Jeff.
Team Jeff. Okay,
Yeah.
that's right.
I have nobody on my side.
No, just
that's
you.
fine. I'm a loner.
You were
I've done it
barely
by
on your
myself
side
so
during
far.
that episode.
That is true. That's in life. I'm barely on my own
that reflected
side.
in our next commercial. So as we wrap up this week of the Wildcard Podcast,
So you're welcome, folks.
Thank you so much for joining us, and until next time, stay wild.
Stay wild.
Bite the edge.
Speak